Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Huh? Can you hear me? My name is Morgan. This is bargaining 24-25. Here we are. I know.
Just gonna say, I know you want a picture.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
She
It's not about me, Jeff. Testing. Okay, welcome. Firstly, just wanted to say that we're excited to be starting so early.
Yes.
And work through. We did obviously meet as Jessica last week as well, so somewhat the same sort of template from last week. And then tonight, I do want to introduce our team. So actually, I'm going to let them introduce themselves, and then if you want to introduce your team.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Gretchen Saunders, Business Office.
Terry Harmon, counsel, and bargainer with Mr. King.
Mike Judas, Chief of Staff.
Jay Way, Salary Agent.
Captain Village, Valencia Elementary School Principal. On staff curriculum and instruction.
Kathy Butler, Budget.
Parker Raymond, Human Resources.
Cynthia Preston, Human Resources.
Phyllis Cruz, benefits.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed the gentleman again.
It's Troy.
Troy, from where? Oh, thank you.
Federal.
Okay. I've never met you before. I know the rest of everyone else here. Thank you.
Troy represents federal programs. He's from Georgia.
I gotcha. All right.
Okay, Morgan?
Yes. So I'm Morgan Mousley. I am from Tocoi Creek High School, and I'm the chief negotiator. Let's start with this. We have some new members to our team.
Lisa O'Rourke, Forest Creek Elementary School, 17 years, pre-K, ESE, BBK.
Kine Sudler, I'm a speech and language pathologist and evaluator. I work at 6 schools in the north end of the district.
Sally Cunningham, Hartley Elementary School. Tammy Whitaker, FEA.
Jennifer Jurek, Crookshank Elementary School.
Jeff Estrada, head of physics of Pedro Menendez High School.
And then we have our new president.
Kate Dowdy, SJEA president.
Oh, and
Brennan Asplin, deputy superintendent of operations.
perfect.
And I'm very happy to be here.
Us too.
We all are. All right.
Do you have any opening comments?
I just wanted to say that I feel like we had a productive session at the beginning of this year in terms of trying to improve working conditions and improve morale around the district. And I'm hoping that we can continue to make strides towards that this session.
Okay, and I concur, and I just also would like to kind of remember the idea that we're in this for the long game, right?
Mhm.
So we're looking to the future as well. So I agree, we made some progress last year, so we want to continue that. So based on just our communication, you had asked about opening the articles that are up there.
Mhm.
And opening, I just want to give an update on the philosophy through the committees, right? So in bargaining last year, we talked about forming or framing a PLC committee, and that can part probably as the working conditions article.
Mhm.
So you'd be aware that we selected some people that met the guidelines that were presented early in the fall, and Dr. Antonio Scott's going to lead that committee. So that may or may not have some bearing. It probably will have some bearing on some of the pieces that we discussed.
Mhm.
We expect that committee to run as deep and as long as it needs. It is representative of all the levels, elementary, middle, and high school. The supplement committee has been led by Ms. Weber. And again, I think we've looked at, you had passed dialogue through Mr. Willits,
Mhm.
and that came through Ms. Sapp's office. So again, I think once we get that committee together and there'll be some recommendations made, it is representative of our teams and as of yours as well.
Mhm.
And that will also run concurrently with our session. So having started so early and given us an opportunity to prepare, because there's more of a gap between each session, I think we'll get some feedback from those committees that will direct our work. The Differentiate Pay Committee is going to be led by myself and Ms. Raymond. We really just finished that work, as you know, to coincide with ratification from last year, calendar year. And so those groups that were represented have not yet been paid. They will be paid at the end of this year under the current philosophy that we agreed on. So I don't think it hurts, again, to start that work early with the idea of working towards the future with that. There could and would and should be a connection to compensation there as well. So we will lead that, and we're just waiting on committee members, I think, from your team as well. And that may go through Ms. Dowdy, because also
Yes,
came through.
so I sent committee members that of the list that she gave me to the various people that you told me were leading those committees.
Okay.
So we should be ready to go.
Okay.
I think the only issue that we are going to have in going in order is the next one that comes up is working conditions, and I don't think the PLC committee will have been able to do their work before that session. So I'm wondering if we should hold on Article 6 and kind of skip that one and go through a couple more for next session.
So I did, just in full then disclosure, looked at two other things. The calendar committee, there wasn't an expectation that that's been to be reopened unless you think differently. And similarly with the associate teacher committee, unless you feel differently. So these are the working committees for the year, and I do agree that their work will be impactful on what we discussed.
Okay.
Okay. Dr. Harmon.
Yes, thank you. And I know based on our agenda, kind of an understanding that there may be some initial articles to be proposed since we are an open book.
Right.
Obviously our expectation is we've got a couple of meetings ahead of us. And so my understanding is there may be some initial language that you may be able to share to us tonight that you'd like us to preliminarily look at. And I know we're working also on some proposed language on various articles to present at a later meeting. And so if you're okay with it now, however you'd like to share those, present those to our side. If you just want us to look at them, or as I think we did last year, there was some explanation as we went along, which I thought was pretty helpful.
Right.
So however you'd like to structure that, to
Yeah.
get that language over.
So all of the articles we're presenting today are ready to go. I don't think we need any of the committee work. I'm just saying for next time, like the next one on the list would be Article 6, and that one would have a lot of the PLC work in it. So we might need to just pause on that one and go to Article 7 and so
That
on.
makes
So,
sense.
but yeah, I can present what we have. Some of it is very small changes. Others is a little bit larger. So I don't know if I can take hold of the screen sharing permissions now. There it is.
We'll get it.
Go to my own extend instead of duplicate. Yep, that would help. Okay.
I can attach it to you if you want. On the other phone.
Just feel like my hair is gonna get more. All right. Preamble. I don't think we have any changes to. So that is ready to be TA'd. Article 1, recognition. I don't think there was an Oxford comma that needed to go in there. So I put that in the excluded from the unit after discharging. You can kind of see the little tiny red comma there. I just am a fan of the Oxford comma. I feel like it provides more clarity to sentences. And then we had, they didn't make any sense in D. I think that was supposed to be an or, and so I just crossed out they and put or. That's really the only change to Article 1. That was an easy one.
And I don't think that because of the perk portion, I don't know if that's going to change or not. Can you go back? Yes.
Included in
I
the
already
unit.
looked at, I think it's
It's gonna
broad,
be-
yeah.
It's broad enough. Okay.
Unless the excluded list changes, which it's
No.
not.
And,
Yeah.
but I do think our certificate date, I don't know if that'll change. Because we'll have a new,
You could just put or as
yeah,
recertified as of such and such a date
Yeah.
if needed.
So yeah, we may need to revisit some of that based on perk, but those are the only changes that I have for that article. Article 2 is where most of our changes are occurring, and most of it is just clarity of language. I think I had to read probably 4 or 5 times in order to fully understand what it was saying. So I am adding a comma. I'll just read through it. The board and the association hereby agree that every professional employee of the board shall have the right to organize, join, comma, and support, or to refrain from joining and supporting the association for the purpose of engaging in negotiations and other lawful activities. I felt like adding the to make it more parallel made the sentence a little bit more clear. So that was the only reason for adding that. The board and the association agree that it will not encourage or discourage, nor deprive or coerce any professional employee of any rights conferred by the agreement. And then we're putting a period there. Again, it just is more parallel structured to add clarity to the language. And then this last part, again, I had to read multiple times. So I just pulled the by reason of membership or non-membership in the association and brought it to the beginning as a clause of that particular sentence. And it now reads, as a result of an employee's membership or non-membership in the association, the board will not discriminate against any professional employee with respect to wages, hours, or terms and conditions of their employment, participation in any lawful activities of the association, collective negotiations with the board, or institution of any grievance under this agreement. So no changes in meaning of anything, just trying to clarify what it is actually saying. On B, I added the following occurs because the way that we had a semicolon after that is not proper grammar, and I'm an English teacher and it was making me crazy. So that is the only reasoning there for B and C, is adding that the following occurs in front of your semicolon. D, again, we're just not really changing the meaning of things. We're just trying to clarify language. So I think you'll see that this is very similar to what SJEA presented the other night. So the board agrees the association shall have the right to communicate with its bargaining unit members through utilizing mailboxes, electronic mail, and the association bulletin board, provided all school board policies are followed and the following stipulations apply. We combined D, G, and H, right? So G was talking about putting stuff in mailboxes, and H was discussing electronic mail. So let's combine this, make it a little bit more clear. So we also got rid of this first stipulation because I don't know of any school that's actually needing to show the administrator a copy of all the material. So we took that out, and then we just changed the wording of 2, 3, and 4 to include all of the electronic mail, the bulletin board, and the mailboxes. So all items are to be non-political in nature. All items will be used for legal purposes. That's what all of the other all of the other stipulations were in the other sections. And then again, 6 is not actually new language. I just pulled it from the electronic mail bullet point. So the association agrees that electronic mail is not a secure communication and is subject to open records review as called for by Florida statutes. The only thing that we added in this is on 5, when it talks about removing items from bulletin boards or mailboxes that do not meet these requirements. In that event that something's removed, the association representative should be notified. So that was the only thing we added, is notifying the association representative. Does anyone have questions on that? I know that was kind of a lot to throw at you.
Just, if maybe later on, where you deleted,
Mm-hmm.
does that appear elsewhere, or are you just saying all that really is incorporated already?
Right. All of that, all of these stipulations were the same in each section.
Just
So
a
we're
different
just kind
header,
of,
basically?
yes, we're just kind of combining it all. E, we kept the same. F, we just clarified the language of, for the most part, aside from, so this normally said duly authorized employees of the association, and it limited them to a max of 2 at any one time, which we've never been limited to. So we just decided to take that out. And we also have never seen an official list provided by the superintendent. So an example would be like Mike Monroe from FEA comes to a school to help with association business. He's considered an authorized personnel as long as he's not interfering with normal school operations. So.
And they've been vetted by the district.
They've already been vetted by the district. G, again, is the same language that was in D. It's just the, the mailboxes. H, same thing. It's just the email communication. And then I, again, we just clarified language. So instead of saying the board agrees to open to examination to the association, we just said agrees the association can request any official public record. And I believe, one more.
And there's an S.
Oh yeah, in N, we just added an S to cost because that's proper grammar. O, there are quite a few schools who don't have regular faculty meetings, and so it originally said that we would be able to give a brief report at the closing of any faculty meeting. So we just decided that schools that don't have faculty meetings often have full group professional development. So we just added that at the close of a faculty meeting and or professional development that we can present brief reports or announcements. And then the end of this, again, just said if you don't hold regular scheduled faculty meetings, they would have this opportunity, and we just didn't think that that was necessary language in there. And so that is it for 2. Does anybody need me to go back over anything?
I'm good.
You're good, okay. And then Article 3, I don't think we had anything. Article 4. I feel like there was, yes. Oh, did we change that? Oh, we did.
No, took out the,
Yeah, I just took out of the because of the way that it was worded. So in A for Article 3, it says, it is also the right of the board to direct its employees, take disciplinary action for proper cause and relieve its employees from duty for just cause because of lack of work or for other legitimate reasons. Because of the lack of work is a weirdly worded phrase. And I added an Oxford comma in the sentence before it. After the public. That was it. I know it's hard to see. It's a little tiny red thing. Okay. Article 4. If we look at E, we were discussing the intent of, I think this was worded improperly for the original intent. So it said, it is recognized that no final agreement between the parties may be executed without ratification by a majority of the board and by a majority of the members of the bargaining unit voting. And the way that it is worded, it makes it sound like we have to have a majority of all bargaining unit members to vote in order for it to be ratified. But really, it's a majority of the members who voted would ratify the contract. So we just changed it so that it sounds more like what the intent was. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. And I think Article 5, there were just a few grammatical changes. C4 had a he left in it from last time, so we changed it to they. Oh, sorry, I missed B5. So in the definition of grievance, I just took out, you shouldn't have that and which right after each other. So we only need which. Sorry if that makes anyone else crazy. I think that was it. Oh, an Oxford comma in G4. Those are hard to find, but.
What are you going to do when someone comes along and doesn't like Oxford comics?
I'm going to tell them that they're wrong.
tell us how you feel.
So where are they now? Those dollars?
They're on my computer. I did not know how you wanted me to put them in Teams.
So can you drop them in that
Yes.
you have permission?
Do you want them? So I currently have them all in preamble through Article 5 in one document.
That's fine.
You want that way?
That's easy.
Okay.
And so what,
So I click
You
new.
might need to close it first before you can do
Yeah.
anything.
if you go to the agenda date and just create a folder in there, that way we know it was today.
In the agenda?
Yeah, and then we'll move it as we just drop it in there, and that way we know.
Folder.
And it seems like the most effective is if we redline. They'll show our red lines
Sure.
separate, right?
In future ones by date, I hope.
Whatever's the easiest for everyone.
Yeah.
Whatever makes it peace.
Oh, I created a new document. That wasn't what I wanted to do. Let's try this again. I'm going to delete it. I'm feeling a lot of pressure because now everyone's watching me do
I'll talk while you're doing that. I'll
15,
fill the empty space.
15 sets of eyes on you.
Yeah, I can always
Upload
fill
is what I
empty
need to do.
space.
Okay.
Our thought would be, since these are articles preamble through Article 5 instead of piecemealing this is, if we're going to be coming back soon, is that our next session have response to all of this. Instead of go back, spend an hour, come back and say, we've got some comments on Article 2, is just come back and give it all in one shot if you're comfortable with that. That'd be our thought. I just in looking at it, there's a couple of little things here and there I've got thoughts on, but we thought that would probably be the most efficient, is to get it all done in one blast. I mean, most of the grammatical is what it is. That's not going to be subject to discussion, but I think some of the more substantive stuff like the communications, the email box, I can already tell you, I'm not saying our position on it, good, bad, or indifferent, but we do have to talk through that. And I just don't know how long that would take. And so the preamble, there's no changes. Grammar in 2, grammar in 3, grammar in 5. Your 4 changes were, I think, the deletion of the word the and something else. So it's really that Article 2. That was our thought, but we'll talk after, I guess, after we finish off with the agenda. If you want to, we can go to MOUs now, unless do you have anything else you want to add?
No, we don't have anything.
Okay.
So my question then would be, each time if we present 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then you guys won't caucus on those. You're going to wait till the next time as well?
No, I just think for the initial session,
Okay.
not knowing,
Yeah.
our thought was not, if there are other times as we kind of go along, we did this last time where we were able to knock out things as we went. We just didn't know exactly what was going to be presented through all 5 articles. It's a little shorter than I thought it might be. So our plan, though, was just to come back with all of it. But I don't think that needs to be the process moving forward. If we can knock it out through caucus, that'd be much preferable. So I'm sure it would be for you.
Yeah, otherwise it's just a lot of time wasted.
We'll, again, I think our expectations for what we were going to be getting, at least mine, I can't speak for this whole crew next to me and behind me, that there might be more. But I do know that Article 2 looked like it was, I know it was to condense it, but I don't know if there's any substantive impact based on the revisions.
Right. So my question is, so you guys thought it was going to be more. So if it were more, you would caucus, but because
We're going to go discuss them.
Okay.
But I'm just saying what I think our goal would be is to have a response to preamble through 5, as opposed to just piecemealing this. But we need to go back and talk about it first.
Okay.
Instead of talking about it here.
Okay.
So then there's probably, after we go through the agenda, then there's no need for us necessarily to stay.
No, you can stay for a few. We'll go discuss it. And if I think it's worth, we think it's worth you hanging out for a little while, just let us have a private chat, make that call, but not to leave you sitting here and then come out an hour and a half later and say, we'll see you next time.
Right.
But we just need to talk through it initially.
Well, I figured you would need time anyway for
Right.
Article 2 for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So
You guys need to speak back.
so I think what we did is just uploaded all of the MOUs that we currently have and talked about last year. So really wanted to say to you, is there any of those that you want to bring forward today that you want us to discuss or look at? Some of them would be date changes. We get that. So again, we're just trying to see where you are with the MOU and the MOU process.
I believe we're still interested in folding MOUs into the contract. So I don't know. What do you think, Sandy?
So I think,
I think the intent, we talked about that last time too, is that there's some that just has continued year after year after year after year after year, like long-standing past practice. So I don't understand why we couldn't put those in there. So I don't know.
So I think, and again, this may be just opening night kind of thing. Look at, is there any substantive change to the content in any of it would be the first piece. Obviously we're opening up new schools this year. We're opening up new schools next year, the year after, and things like ongoingly. So there's an MOU in there about that. I'm not sure that we would want to roll every MOU in there. but I think we just need a proposal. What I just had Phyllis do was matriculate them over with dates as a starting point. That's in your folder.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
so I don't know if you're ready to pass anything on that tonight, or if you.
We are not, because I think our intent is to put them into the contract where they belong. So like as that article appears, we would want to put early transfer into the transfers article.
Yeah, and I think, St. John's Technical High School, Gaines, Evelyn Hamlin should roll into supplements or compensation. Teachers providing emerging class coverage, I'm quite confident that's probably never going to go away. We're still going to have a teacher shortage no matter what, so people are still going to, so I think especially those would need to, our position would be that they should go in the contract. Oops.
So would your position be to send me or pass the ones that you would like us to look at for the contract, and then the ones that if there's any language change, or maybe the language change would be the first piece. Again, I think with dates, those are easy to do, right?
Mhm.
Because we'll just, so that's an easy one. And actually, Miss Phyllis has already done that. So that would be first, that if there's a change in language, in content, I'm not sure there is, but if there is, or wording, there might be some wording issues. And then from there, if there's ones you would like us to look specifically for contract.
Okay, well, since you guys need to go back and potentially discuss Article 2 and what we've passed across, we can discuss this when we go to caucus and see if there's anything we can bring back tonight. But yeah, we would have to discuss that.
Oh, you mean ones if they could be signed?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Or if there's any like substantive changes we would want to make to one
Right.
before putting it into the contract, but.
It sounds like your expectation though is we'd like to roll as many of these
Mhm.
in. So while the content may be something you can look at, where it would appear and whether or not it's something you would like to roll in, maybe a later.
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm hearing. Okay.
All right.
What else do we have on?
Insurance committee.
I just, and I'm sure you're aware, I just want to make sure, obviously, that your insurance committee members are coming and back reporting to you over the course of the sessions. We had another session today, so it may come up later on, but I just want to make sure that, and I'm sure you are, that you're in communication with your members and the progress and the discussions that are in there.
Mhm.
So, and we'll just save the session dates and
When we come
close
back.
remarks.
Okay. Do we want to start with 30 minutes
Sure.
and then you can
Yeah.
let us know? Perfect.
Well within that.
Yeah, I can,
This microphone is so tiny.
We're live.
All right. Number 3. We're struggling.
You have it?
No, you're fine.
Slight audible. Slight audible. Just need a minute.
Oh, no worries. I did
We're
nothing.
all a little rusty.
Yeah, you gotta
Hanging in.
work out the kinks, get your first cup of coffee, and then it's
Going
like
to
opening
Cabo
day
on
of
Monday.
baseball, right? Or your first day of school. Opening statement, the trial.
Hi, girl.
Get out of the gate a little bit.
She's like, I couldn't hear myself.
Language one.
Right. That was on.
Yeah.
Different
You
one.
want to do that.
Okay. Ready?
Ready.
Okay. See if you can hear me. So following up, yeah, our expectation kind of going in was to take it all and come back with it all. But as I mentioned, not a ton of changes. So we were able to go through. It took a little bit longer than the half hour and see if there were any we could just knock out right now. And I think we're good. We made copies of them to TA on the preamble, on Article 3, Article 4, and Article 5. And then on Articles 1 and 2, we did start discussions, but we just need some more time to work through that language. Particularly, we may have some revisions to it that we'd like to present, but we're just not in a position, I think, right now to move forward on those two.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now just to kind of give also some background. Tammy, you raised a good question when it related to Article 1. If there's a possibility we're going to be changing, we still have to wait for that certification process to complete. So let's let that complete, and then we can move forward on this one. And then on 2, it was more just there's some substantive issues in there that we didn't want to keep you hanging around. And so we tried to knock out the ones we knew we were quick on. And then really one kind of idea moving forward. I know we get only so much time at the table. Sometimes we have a couple of weeks in between. On the grammatical things, is there a way to, rather than having to like open up, like 2 of these I think were purely comma or deletion of a word, is there a way that we can kind of work together to do a grammatical review instead of having to caucus and review grammatical things? I think where it's like a clear error, like there was one, it was they and then they're wrong. That's fine, but if it's purely grammar, it's not term, condition of employment, wage, or benefit. Can we work on that? I don't want to say a committee, but is there a way to go through and not have to do basically, we're right now on Teams, we've got 5 articles. I don't think we would have had to have done that on just grammar stuff. So is there a way we can think about moving forward to separately address pure grammar stuff? And the idea is we just rather spend all the time here on substance.
So, probably, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Like this one was easy, but I'll just give you an example. On some of those longer ones where it's an Oxford comma or it might be formatting, we're talking about potentially sitting here and going through and saying, oh, you missed a comma there, you missed a comma there. Can we do that offline? It's just, you don't have to decide now. I think it's just something we were trying to look at.
What we could do is put in our articles where we believe the grammar, maybe we can just make notes. And then when we get ready towards the end, we can say Article 1 has these specific words or commas or Oxford commas or whatever.
Yeah. We can do it at the end. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
But I just thought like next time you come in, if it's an article with nothing but grammar, you can say, Article 7's grammar only. We'll address that at the end, but let's focus on
Okay.
just an idea.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right, but okay. But thank you for going through and doing that and catching some of those issues. So I think on there that unless you have anything on MOUs, which I know it's you haven't had a lot of time.
Our stance on MOUs is we're looking at future teacher contract is going to go in Article 16. Early transfer is going to go in Article, was it 7 is transfers? Gains and St. John's Tech would be in supplements. Working remotely during planning and teachers providing class coverage would be in working conditions, which is Article 6, which again, we are going to have to push off. So that's when you can kind of expect to see us present the information in those. In terms of substance in each of them, I don't think we have any major changes because I think we worked through a lot of that last time. So it'll mostly just be us kind of showing you how we would see, how we envision it going into the contract.
And I think the future teacher one, just the amount, the
Right.
$500, unless that's something that's going to change. There's no need to put all the rest of that language. It doesn't really deal with the bargaining unit per se. So, but the amount does for that person who comes back
Right.
and works in the county. Similar to giving paraprofessionals, if you work in the county and you work 10 years as a paraprofessional, you get some years of service on the what do you call that? Placement schedule.
Yeah.
I couldn't think what it's called. So I think not the whole thing of future teachers, just the dollar amount where that would be appropriate is to put it in the compensation.
I do.
So, can I ask her? So you'll pass that across when you come to it?
When we come to the where we think they belong in the contract, it'll be with that article. Yes.
And then I had one question. I'm sorry to replow old ground. When you went through Article 2, there was a lot of changes in there, and I know some of it was slimming it out a little bit so it's not so long. Was there anything in some of the substantive changes where you've had a problem with it? It's just something for us to, I think through like this, the reason we propose this change is because this happened, or we've had an issue. I understand there's always the projection of we
Right.
don't want this to happen or it's not been an issue, but it's always helpful, I think, if our side knows, like if there's something that's problematic, it's good to know that may be what's pushing the article provision.
Not that I am aware of.
I mean, if you have a specific example of which piece, then I'd be able to tell her, Kate would be able to tell.
Yeah.
mean-
And I don't have a specific piece. I just
Yeah.
think it's anytime there's a substantive change, it's good to know like, hey, we're asking this, not we haven't done it before, so we're going to change it, or this isn't what we do. I get that. But it's also valuable to know we're proposing this because this has happened, or we've heard from our members that this issue occurred. Okay.
Can I just say,
Yeah.
and I think, and Kate would attest to this, our relationship's quite good, right? So anything that is brought up is dealt with. And to our knowledge, from the Article 2 in particular, we couldn't come up with an example, but
I think it clearly was, I was the one who suggested it to SJEA because I did it in SJESPA. It just was repetitive. And three of those paragraphs was repetitive. Said the same stuff every single paragraph. So why not just put it all into one?
Not concerned about that.
Okay.
It's not just for Article 2. It's also just good to know when there are substantive changes along the way.
Yeah.
We've had an issue, and it doesn't sound like those things get addressed, but it is good to know and valuable to know if that's why maybe it's being changed. So, other than that, and I think we just have dates for the next one.
Okay.
Let me pull up. I think what we were talking about is the 27th.
Yeah.
As a potential joint session.
yeah, so if Morgan and team, so what we were, obviously there's a suggest, I think it's what date, 22nd?
27th. Do a joint meeting.
No, there's a suggested before then.
Oh, 20th.
Right. So what we were proposing is on the 27th to have a joint session and to look at insurance committee information, and Ms. Saunders will present some budget information.
So could we just dedicate like maybe the first hour
Sure.
and then SJEA could continue bargaining that evening? Or no?
you could suggest it, you just did, but it,
May I make that suggestion?
So it would just be if an hour is enough. I don't know. An hour at the onset
You mean for insurance?
and budget.
Oh, you're gonna do a budget presentation that night too?
That's our hope.
Oh, okay, so then probably we would not, okay.
Okay,
So
I
we-
didn't
I mean,
realize we were
then
gonna
we
be ready
both
for
would
budget
need to do
Saturday.
that,
Yeah.
Well, that's a suggestion, and I think that goes to Mr. Harmon's point of, if there
That's
isn't any substantive change in some of these articles, move quickly to that so we can get to some of the
Okay.
the
Okay.
bigger issues if that's the right.
If we have both groups together, not gonna as much as we can that associated with both groups.
Oh, no, I think a budget presentation, I don't need to listen to it twice, please.
And insurance.
And insurance,
Right.
please.
Say that's somebody's profession. That
I get it, but I
you
don't need to
wanna
listen
like
to.
that's their Super Bowl sometimes.
Pretty sure I know what's gonna be said. So it's,
So
and it's up to SJEA. I'm okay with it from the standpoint of SJEA. And I'll talk to Shar and the team about it, but I don't see any problem with that. They don't have a committee meeting that day, do they?
Salary committee meeting?
On the 27th?
I didn't have it on here. So
Okay, they may make
We
something
can make
tonight.
sure, yeah.
Okay.
We don't have it.
Okay,
So
Okay.
that's,
I'm just
Motion.
curious how many more dates we have so that, because
so
I'm
we can
trying
look
to,
at, we can look at other dates as well.
Yeah.
We're just trying to get that to both groups as quickly as possible. We
Okay.
Didn't want to interfere with the date that had already been selected for.
Right.
Suggest, but it's prior, I think on the 20th.
I mean, did you want to that? I mean, Brennan,
No, because
Okay,
we won't be ready.
you won't be ready.
Mhm.
okay, never mind.
And we thought that the 20th, we had already set that, and
Yeah.
we didn't want
Okay, that's fine.
to mess you up.
Okay. All right, so April then, right?
And
Yes, do we
April,
have
so
other
you want to look at April dates?
yeah.
What date do you have? You have them all booked?
The 3rd, the 10th,
17th and
So
24th.
every Wednesday.
I won't be here the
So
17th, but
you want to do every other one, Morgan, like we were doing?
I think every other is probably good
Gives
for
us
the
enough
15th.
time.
I will not be here on the 3rd. I'll be in Washington DC.
So 10 and 24?
Mhm.
10 and 24? And the 24th. They look good?
Yes.
5 o'clock.
Oh, we could probably take the 4th, 3rd. I'm gonna keep it. Write it down.
So 27th of March, April 10th, April 24th.
No.
So Phyllis, on it, on the 20, on April 3rd, suggest, but we'll go ahead and take that one.
Good job.
Do we have May dates or are we just gonna stick with April for now? I'm just trying to like figure out how many articles we need to get in each session. So this will help me if I know how many sessions we have and what we can expect.
I mean, philosophically, I'm fine with every other week.
Okay.
Unless there's a reason like this, if we had a joint session that we, so there's probably 2 dates in May that we could agree on, I would have thought.
So then it would be the 8th and the 22nd of May?
Does it
Does that conflict with any
coincide with any
end of the year
graduations? Or?
graduations?
Yeah, graduation.
Maybe May 1st.
Well, the graduation week is the 20th. Yeah.
You're early.
8th and 22nd.
8th and 22nd?
Yeah, is there a graduation on the 22nd? Mine's not,
I
but
think she's saying
Maybe.
either 1st and the 15th.
So would it be 8th and the 20, what?
I might, or do 8 and 15,
That's
or
just-
1st and 15.
That's not much time from the 24th.
Oh, true. 8 and 15,
For
so
now.
back to back.
8, 15? For now, yeah.
So not on the 1st and not on the 22nd.
correct.
And the 24th.
Hang on one second.
We'll recap it.
Okay, so March 27th will be insurance and a budget presentation.
Yep.
Then we can let our people know. Okay.
And then 10th,
And I
24th.
wouldn't have thought there's any time. I don't know that we're preparing for bargaining or articles at night.
No, I think budget and insurance will be enough. Yeah, legislative update.
I think so, but it'll help to
Yep.
kind of lay the groundwork.
So we're not doing articles on the 27th. Okay.
Gives us plenty of time.
He says with a smile.
No Oxford commas, Morgan.
I can teach you about the Oxford comma if you'd like.
These are- we need signatures, is that it?
Just the date and signature. So you
I don't really
April
know
10th, April
the
24th,
so.
May 8th, May 15th.
I'm going to show you something.
Do I need union representation?
You guys want to start on Wednesday?
Probably.
Probably. What'd you find on my Facebook account? No, just kidding. I love saying that. Do I need union representation? I can get more of my members to say that. I would be really happy. No, I'll write you a statement. Just tell me. Right, Kate? I'll write statements. I don't need union representation.
I mean, is there potential for discipline? I mean, that's what matters, right? Representation, get that warning.
In there. Try to be more organized this time around. I have SJEAs on one side and Suggestas on the other side. Is that what you did too? I was like, that's why I love my secretary in my office. I'm going to put them all together for you. Flip it upside down and the other side. Yeah, that's the lot. The Costco magazine comes. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I look at the AARP one and sometimes I'm like, oh. I finally joined because then I can get, because Kelly said, you can get discounts on your Carnival gift cards. You can save $25. It's a lot of money.
Queen, where's yours? Is that you?
Mm-hmm.
That looks like an S.
Save,
I know.
I was wondering who that was.
It's Swain.
Is it? Is it S. Wayne? Is that it?
you wouldn't be able to read mine, so.
Oh,
Oh,
you missed
just make sure I have
one
two
of Article
copies, Phyllis.
3.
I only need one.
And we need two.
And here, we need
One for Jen, one for me.
five.
Here's an extra one.
And one. Why do I have 2 stacks of Article 5?
There's an extra.
You have three?
I have 3.
Okay.
We're still doing grievance. Then you put them all right in here so you don't lose them. Let me try to be this time around. I think we had a question for you anyway, too, Wayne.
Wayne, I
Hey,
usually.
Did we have a question for Wayne?
You want me to? You want me to? I got the screen.
The one that Ocean. No, no, no,
I
I
don't
know,
know how many copies that
side.
is. I have.
Yeah, yeah, no, he wanted to see something to show
Yeah.
me, so.
3, 4, 5.
This one I did. No, I only did the preamble.
Oh, okay.
How many 5s do you have? Because I ended up with extras.
I have, these are yours if you want. There's another 5.
We only need 2.
Yes, on that.
There you go, ma'am.